Here's Brody Brazil.
Now that the 49ers are done with their exhibition season, it brought me to a thought the other day about missing, whether it's spring training of baseball or training camp in the NFL, what exactly is the effect on a player and a team if you miss the preseason? Now, I'll use this comparison for Brandon Aiyuk and Trent Williams to what Blake Snell has gone through this season with the San Francisco Giants. So it's an all San Francisco video here. We're comparing football to baseball. And yes, I do realize there are some apples and oranges differences here, but there's also some commonalities when you begin to start looking at this through the lens of Blake Snell here in 2024. Now, this is different. He was not holding in. He was not holding out. He was simply a free agent, and his agent, Scott Boras, very particular about how this would go, controlling the situation, trying to get the best team and opportunity and value for Blake Snell. He was last year's National League Cy Young Award winner. He's only one of a handful of pitchers to ever have won the Cy Young in both the American and National Leagues. He was coming off a monster second half last year, so all the numbers would indicate that he's right there, he's in the prime, things are going to work out. He didn't agree to a contract until I think it was a Monday night, March 18th, which when you go back and look at the math, he only had 6 more days to even join the Giants in Arizona and Scottsdale before they moved on to California and started the rest of their regular season. So it was a quick ramp up for him to join the team, to face major league hitters, even in spring training situations or in bullpen sessions. He didn't make his first start until what was the Giants' 11th game of 2024. And if I remember this correctly, it was past the Padres opening series, that's his former team, and then it was after the Dodgers series because there's just a lot going on there. So they tried to give him a bit of a soft landing into the season because they knew that he didn't pitch at all during spring training. So he doesn't make his first start until April 8th. It's game 11, and things don't go well. I'll show you the ERAs by month in just a second, but we can all recall how rough the season started for Blake Snell. And it wasn't just the very beginning. It was also like literally the first half. He had 2 separate injury stints between April and May, missed almost a month, and then missed almost the entire month of June. I think he made 1 start. So it did not go well for Blake Snell. Now, I'm here to say, was that a matter of missing spring training and getting a late start and not being in your rhythm and routine and not being on pace with everybody else? I'm not here to entirely blame it on that, but I think he has admitted that. He has at least alluded to that as being part of the complication and the equation. But this was all self-inflicted, right? Like it was his choice to not sign with the team until March 18th and the Giants. He could have done that 2 weeks prior, had maybe more time to actually ramp into the season like everybody else. Here was his performance to start the year. An 11.57 ERA in March and April. Well, I take it back, in April, because he didn't pitch in March. Yeah, the season started in March, but not for him. 11.57. May it dips down. June it gets a little bit better, but that was only, I think, the 1 start. In July. Now, when he comes back, and he said he was ready, and he said he was healthy, but it took him a while to get to that point. He needed a couple starts in AAA Sacramento. He comes back with steam coming out of his ears. A .75 ERA. Then to start the month of August, he throws a no-hitter on August 2nd, and his ERA, as I prepared for this video, which I think he had 1 more start since then, so maybe this is off a little bit, but as I prepared for this video, a 1.27 ERA through, let's just say, most of the month of August. So if we're going to sum this up, I mean, just the numbers speak for themselves right there, but in reverse, missing spring training was at least not optimal, at the very least, right? And it at least cost him and the team something. If he was at the entire spring training, this identical season could have also happened, and then what do we chalk it up to? But that question, that dilemma is always going to be looming surrounding Blake Snell this season. And look, he's having a great second half. He might be playing his way into getting a new contract already for next year. Kind of crazy, right? But people remember the second half. He's having a monster second half, big picture. And so that's the part that really matters most to the Giants and what fans will remember in his contract. But the year as a whole has not gone tremendous. I think that's obvious and honest. So is it different in the NFL versus Major League Baseball? And I said before, apples and oranges. Yeah, Major League Baseball, their players are creatures of habit. They need repetition. They need to go out there and pitch innings and face batters and throw pitches. The NFL is more of a timing sport, right? It's your chemistry with the quarterback and routes and timing, and it's just all the minute details. And it is repetition. Like repetition helps you with timing, but it's more about knowing and feeling the timing versus anything else. How many NFL routes have I run? 0.0, but I'm going off of what players will tell you. Brandon Aiyuk and Trent Williams, here's a factor in this. They're not new to the league. I mean, Aiyuk, obviously more younger in his career by far than Trent Williams, but they're not new to the 49ers. They're not new to Brock Purdy and the offense and the coaching staff and what they're going to try and do. And in the case of Aiyuk, he's been around. Trent Williams is holding out. Aiyuk is holding in. They're not new, but they're also not getting that timing. And so missing camp, I'll say missing the exhibition season. Maybe they both come back for just a little bit of training camp by the time the season starts. Like we have, 2 weeks now until that. Missing camp, does it intensify the spotlight? Does it make it more of an issue that, you missed all this time. Now we're going to be watching exactly how you do, how many catches you have, how you are on the offensive line, protection, all that stuff. Is the criticism going to intensify with the spotlight because everybody knows that they could have been around? And for contractual and business reasons, and I'm not here to hold that against them, they're doing what the business model suggests sometimes, but is that going to cost them individually? Is that going to cost the team as a whole? But here's the most important part. As the season plays out, even if they were to miss all of training camp or even miss a week of games, by the end of this season, will it matter to their results? Will it matter to the 49ers team results in the end? Because Blake Snell is proving that for him, it kind of doesn't. Now, if the Giants had stockpiled a few more wins, they still wouldn't be maybe in a necessarily much different place. My point is, in the end, as Linkin Park said, in the end, it doesn't even matter. I'm not going to sing that. But I think in the end, it probably won't matter. However, getting to that point, everything is going to be magnified in terms of what happens to those two football players in comparison to what Blake Snell has gone through. So just a thought. I spent maybe a little bit too much time on that, but I wanted you to think about that. What does it mean to miss an entire preseason? Is it different in the NFL versus Major League Baseball? It is certainly something to consider. You made it here to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That helps me in this video and this channel. I would like that, but I would also love it even more if you just take 1 second, go down there, make sure you've got that subscribe button pressed. That way I definitely get to see you back here next time.